it's more of an information gathering thing, just because just very conscious of the fact that it's right not to target a whole group of people and tie them all the same brush. That's just childish. I need to understand more about this myself. I need to understand more about what's going on inside the Israeli Parliament. I need to understand more about what the spectrum, of political opinion is in the Knesset at the moment. Because the last time I looked into it, it was all very evenly balanced. Because I have proportional representation. And I need to understand what is the power struggle that's actually going on inside Israel. Because there will be people inside Israel that don't like what's going on any more than we do. So to take just one side, to go for a one-state solution seems rather childish and short-sighted to me personally.
Speaking for myself, I certainly would be an advocate for it. If I was a Palestinian, I would argue for a one-state solution. I'm not a Palestinian. It seems to me that people like us, people who are not actually at the wrong end of the slow-motion ethnic cleansing that's going on, but whose governments are actually implicated. Our first and overwhelming responsibility is practical solidarity. Now, which means that really, as far as I'm concerned, it's up to the representative organisations of the Palestinian people to decide what their particular tactical positions are. And if I was asked, which I won't be, there's absolutely no reason why I should be, I'd be quite happy to stick my oar in. But really my main responsibility is what we can do here now. And in Camden, we've been involved for some time in what's not unique to Camden, in all sorts of other places. In Camden we've adopted a suburb of East Jerusalem, Abu Dis, and we've established Abu Dis Friendship Society. And I have to say that we're fortunate that we got 3 Green councillors who've actually despite the opposition of some local members have actually argued very strongly, that have tried to get the council to formally adopt Abu Dis as in twinning, and have been defeated by the Lib Dems, strangely enough. But the fact is that being fairly patient, I can't claim to do my bit, but I mean there are other people who do a lot more in the Friendship Association. But by exchanging, organising exchanges of school students and of teachers and local government workers and so on, we've been able to really raise the consciousness of local people. I mean, I have to say, of course, one of the things that raised consciousness in the immediate vicinity where I live is that one of our neighbours was Tom Herndl's parents. Well, I didn't know Tom Herndl, but I do know his father. His murder by the IDF, had a tremendous effect locally, as you can imagine it would. But the fact is that things like having Palestinian kids coming and spending some time in local schools has had a tremendous effect, and has raised consciousness in a general sort of way. And it seems to me that sort of activity is the sort of thing that we in the Green Party should be active in, as well as all the demonstrations and stuff like that.
Can I just a direct response to the, sorry to jump, you talk about Palestinian children going to the schools. Do the Zionists bring any children in on the sort of, has any of that sort of stuff occurred? do you know, whereby they're saying, well, these are our children, and you know, we're dealing with racism, etc. You're against. Has any of that sort of stuff
No,
happened?
strangely enough. I mean, there's been, you know, you get the odd angry letter to that. I remember that in Camden School for Girls, for example, there was some girls had took part in a cookery class, and they were making pizzas, and some of the Palestinian girls made a pizza in the shape of Palestine, and there was some people that were sort of outraged by in the local press. You know. There's always sort of stuff like that. But I must say, you know, for every one letter of that ilk, there's perhaps half a dozen putting forward, you know, sort of very.
I'm just going to make a technical point. This session is due to finish in 10 minutes. Having said that, the conversation's going quite well. If people want to extend it maybe by 5 or 10 minutes, would that be? Does anyone have any objections to that? No? Okay, just keep going. I think it's Steve.
With reference to the one-state solution, you know, it might be idealistic, it might be out there. I don't think it's childish. It would be my ideal, but I don't think it will happen. But 2 states, I think, will just continue the enmity as well. I mean, for me, it's not Israel, it's not Palestine, it's almost like the Holy Lands or something. You should have one country where every citizen is equal, and you know, they can have their parliament, and I admit that's idealistic, but I don't think it's necessarily childish.
So that's just my words.
Yeah, you're right that we shouldn't tar Israelis with the same brush, and I have a suspicion that governing parties and parties are a little more pro-violence than a lot of the people would be. I think the people feel, through their own brainwashing and propaganda, they feel got at. They feel that a lot of this is necessary, believe it or not. Even though, you know, they're just addled with lies and propaganda, and a few Katyusha rockets are fired off by we don't know who, presumably not Hamas as I understand it, but likes of Al-Aqsa or something like that, but very rudimentary bits of weaponry fired in one direction and then met with a response many thousands of times more disgusting, what have you. What I was going to ask about was the internal politics now in Gaza. And mainstream media last night was covering these gun battles between Hamas and, I can't remember what the group called themselves, but they are claimed, say again?
Salafi.
Oh, Salafi. They're purported to be Al-Qaeda sort of supported, whatever Al-Qaeda is, you know, presumably they haven't got the same amount of CIA money as Al-Qaeda, I don't know. But calling for an emirate, and certainly very Islamist and that kind of thing. Now, Hamas were a popular opposition party when Fatah were corrupt, you know, and now Hamas are in, and will probably, you know, just by virtue of being in government, will lose their popularity. So is there actually any unity politically, even within the people of Gaza, and let alone the West Bank, because presumably there's factions, you know, between the West Bank and the Palestinian authorities. So I guess that would be, you know, I've made my point about the one-state solution. I'm asking a question about the internal politics of Gaza, and sort of on a more light-hearted basis, if you've got any lovely anecdotes about Cynthia McKinney, I'd like to hear them.
Should I feel threatened?
Me and Cynthia have never met. To her great regret.
Derek, the first mate, was hitting on her quite a lot.